Right, so I'm back from a little trip to Manchester. It's pretty fun. The main reason I went was to catch up with a friend. However, she wanted some like creative photography doing. So I thought, why don't I make a video on it and then take you through like the thought process and the ideas basically of how we got from the beginning to the end of the whole day. Alright, so how do you go about making a creative shot? Thing is, it's not as hard as you'd think. I mean, there's a couple of things that you can do like in the process to help you get there. For example, here's a shot, and you know what, it's nice, but there's just something about it that's not unique and it's not different. When we was at the location, we noticed that like everybody was taking pictures in this exact same kind of framing, the exact same kind of pose, and there's nothing bad with it. It's just there was nothing really I guess unique about it. See, with this one, it's a little different. See, what we did was, when we was at the location, we just walked down some stairs, and we just saw that there was like this little frame, I guess, in the actual stairwell, where there was like 3 just different random holes, and it's part of the design. However, I thought, what if we could get our subject through that, and we could use it as a frame, and this actually worked out really well. So I guess this is one of the tips. This is where what you could do is, you look around your environment, and you just see something, and somewhere where no one is taking a picture, and hopefully just use that, try and get inspired by that. That's what we did, and it worked out pretty well. Right, so with this one, this one's a little bit different because we didn't use the environment to, I guess, frame the subject. What we were doing was, so we were walking into some stairwell to like the next location, and I kind of just noticed as I looked up, the lighting was hitting our model in like 2 different areas, which really balanced out I guess the skin tone and everything, and it worked out really well. So I guess in this way, we're not being creative by using something to frame our model. We're actually just using what's available to us in the environment itself, and we're using that to our advantage. Alright, so we've been to a couple locations. So we've been here, which is like the cathedral. Only issue is, they said we can't really do some photography in there because you have to charge £1, bit of extortion, but you know, it's fine. We did some sneaky photography on the phone, which is alright. We also went to John Rylander's library, and we've got some good pictures in there. Again, the only issue is the staff there are a bit weird. They didn't give me my full space to do my photography. They kept looking over, and by the end we were just about to do some good, like one really good shot, but they had to close. So we're going to find a different location, and you're going to see the shot we're going to do. I'll talk you through it a little bit, and just the process of how basically we're going to make it. Let's go. Right, so it's a bit loud, so I don't know if you can hear me. I'm assuming you can. We've basically done all the shooting for today. It's got pretty dark now, so we decided to call it an end. But we managed to get the floating card, paper, pictures. We also added it to like a different picture that we weren't planning to do, but it worked out well. So now we're going to eat some you know, should be pretty nice. I haven't tried this yet, but you know, let's try it, and then after this we'll do some more editing. Alright, to make the paper float, you basically want something that attaches to it without being visible on camera. What we're going to use here is fishing wire and just some tape just to attach it and just keep it as light as possible. As you can see, when I hold the string in certain areas, it looks like it's floating, and I can actually move it around almost like a puppet. Alright, so for this section, we really wanted to personalize the shoot, and to do this, I literally just asked the model to find a famous quote or just a known quote to her, which really means something to her in like a journalism aspect. And then instead of just writing it on paper, which we did at first, she actually just came up with the idea that she should write it in shorthand, which is even better because that's even more, I guess, specialized for the photo shoot, which is kind of what you want. Right, so here literally we're just going around the room and just sticking the paper in different areas of the frame, both in focus and out of focus, just so we get that variety. And also, yeah, we're just going everywhere. We want paper to be flying around the room, and hopefully if this comes out right, we'll have the exact thing that we want. Alright, so when we was in this room, the lighting was pretty nice, but it was a bit harsh, and it was leaving too many harsh shadows on the face. So I just thought, how can we cover this up or make a softbox without actually having one with us? And I just thought, you know, we got paper, we could just use the paper to dim or soften the light. And it worked out pretty well, and I might do this or show you how to do this in a later video. Alright, here you can see literally just the second picture we were doing, but this one's more close up, it's tighter, and it's a bit more personal. You're going to have the flying paper more close to the head, and you're going to be able to read the message on the notepad in front of her face. However, like we were saying before, this will be in shorthand, so it adds just a little bit of something special to it. Alright, so we're back in Photoshop now, and what we're going to do is we're going to put all the pictures that we took and want to use for the shoot in their own folder and edit them in Photoshop. However, because they're all shot in RAW, we're going to edit them a little bit, adjust them, make it look nice. But then once we've done that, we'll be ready to move on to the next process of actually putting the paper together and everything. So let's do that. Right, so what I've done here, it's pretty simple. Literally just turn the temperature down because it's a bit too orange. Also did up the exposure a little bit, just to, you know, lighten up a bit. Change, you know, the simple things like a little bit of contrast, highlights, shadows, a bit of the blacks. Also, just to kind of neutral out the picture as well, just turn a little bit of vibrancy down, but add a little bit of saturation. But now it's all ready to go, let's start the editing process. Right, first, I'm liking the picture already, but I just feel like it looks a bit like it's too much of an angle. So what I'm going to do is Control T, then right click, and it says rotate, and then right up here, you can do it a bit more accurately and just change the numbers a little bit. Also what I'm going to do is, if you just pull down here, the little ruler, a line pops up, and what you can do is so this means you can make pretty much anything straight with this line, and you'll know it'll be straight. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to use it with the books, make them straight, because I feel like that's one of the central elements of this picture. Also, if you've done that, you'll notice there are like these white areas around the edges now where the picture isn't there. So what you could do is content aware it, where it'll fill them in, and it'll basically Photoshop will guess what should be there, and it does pretty well usually. But all I'm going to do is just zoom into it, because it's not that much on the edge and it'll be fine. Right, next thing you want to do is you want to bring in all the pictures of the floating paper into Photoshop, and again, because they're raw, you're going to want to make them pretty much match kind of the colour scheme that you got here. It shouldn't take that long. Again, you kind of just guess with looking back at this picture and basically just take a guess to what looks pretty similar. The thing is, you will be changing them anyway once they're in here, but you want just a basic kind of guideline. The basic thing that I only want from these pictures are the paper. I'm not going to do too much. All I've done on all of them, I'm just going to change the temperature a little lower just to match the basic colour scheme of this. But yeah, once you've done all that, it might take a bit of a while. Once you've done all that, we'll move on to the next bit. Okay, so now that you have your pictures in Photoshop, what we're going to do is you're just going to start basically removing everything and then just keeping the paper. Okay, now one thing you can do is if the paper is blurry, that actually can work out in your favour, because what you can do is when you're moving the edge of it, you don't have to be as precise. You can be a little sloppy with it, which is good because it works for this photo shoot, because you want the paper to look like it's moving and it's in motion. So yeah, having them a little bit blurry actually helps. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your picture, select it, then go down to add a mask. So first you're going to use the select tool, then select the paper that you're going to use, then you right click, select inverse, and then delete that, and that should take everything away but the paper, just like that. Then obviously deselect it. I mean, you could put it where it literally was originally, or for now, because what you're going to do, you can put it anywhere now. So you can have it in this direction, over here, over here. But one thing you want to kind of be careful of is, I guess, the background, because obviously, so if you've got it here, the paper looks pretty big, you know what I mean? Because it looks like it's far in the distance. Once you move it in front of this like blurred out chair here, it looks very tiny. So obviously you want to take that into consideration. Get back to the edit. What we're going to do is we're going to select the mask layer, brush, make sure it's on the black, make sure it's a bit of a blurry brush, because you don't want to have too many sharp lines. You can be a little bit sloppy with this and it's fine. I'm doing this very quickly. Obviously when you're doing it, you can do it with a little bit more precision. There you go. Look, pretty much all the edges have been taken off. I mean, there's a little bit there. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to open up adjustment, hue saturation, and then link it with the layer below and that means only this one layer will be altered. If I don't do that, look what happens. If it's too light, the whole thing goes white. If it goes too dark, the whole thing will go dark. So by selecting it, you're only changing the layer below it, which will be that paper you see. And what you want to do is you want to make it fit into the scene. So obviously, depending where you were and where you are, the light might be different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the saturation a bit, increase a bit of the lightness, and I feel like that fits the scene. It's very neutral, but so is the actual scene, and I feel like that works very well. And what you want to do is basically go through all your paper pictures, do the exact same thing. So I'm going to show you myself doing that, and I'll get back to you once it's all done. Right, so now all your paper is in place and looks nice and you're happy with it. What you can do now, you can either finish it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a gradient filter over it, and it should just bring everything in together and looking nice, because then everything will have like the same color flow to it. To do this, go to your adjustments, gradient map, and here it's black and white. Well, you can change that. Click on the bar, pick whichever gradient you want. I'm going to pick this one because I've used it a couple of times and I like it a lot. I'm going to change the layer style to lighten and then drop the opacity to 50. And see, look, that looks really nice. I like it a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this now, and that's this edit pretty much done. Right, so the other picture is very similar to this, so I feel like I don't need to take you through the exact same thing because you probably get bored of it. It's the exact same thing, just like a different setting, same technique. So yeah, let's go back to the original video. Alright, this was pretty much the last picture. What we wanted was something, this one's seen quite a lot to be honest, but it is still a good picture. So what we're going to have is just the model holding the camera, almost like it's her own eye, her own lens, and looking directly into the camera I'm using. And it's done before, so I'm not saying it's massively creative, but something that I guess can be added to a portfolio or something, and it looks pretty nice. Right, so that's the end of the video. Hope you liked it. A little disclaimer, even though I said at the beginning of the video, all the outside shots were filmed at the beginning of February. That's why we were able to like go out and do them. You know, just same message everybody else saying, you know, stay home, stay safe and all that. But yeah, hope you liked it, and stay tuned for the next video. We also went to a library.
John Rylands.
John Riley. Went to John Riley Library.
John Rylands.
John Riley. We went to
an old library.
It's not a hard name.
John Ryland.
John Ryland. Okay, we also went to a John Rylands library.